Pacific day, down by the bay, me and my baby catching a wave. Pacific day.
So here we are chatting with Peter Prince in his studio down in friendly Burgoyne Bay, beautiful Burgoyne Bay.
Yes.
Thanks for being part of Art Lovers Getaway, Peter.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, and thanks for that beautiful song.
A Specific Day.
So it's part of your new album.
It's the title of my new album, and that was the title cut.
Wow, that's gorgeous. Yeah. Did you write all the songs?
I write all the songs. I've written hundreds of songs.
Hundreds.
I've been writing since I was in grade 8.
Oh my gosh.
I got inspired by this English teacher who brought in all these recordings of Leonard Cohen, Bob Dylan, Joni Mitchell, Joan Baez, Judy Collins,
all these
all
wonderful
the singers
Canadians.
of the day. And she was, I remember she was like a hippie teacher. And yeah, so I was inspired by all that. And I'd never written a poem in my life. And she inspired us to write some words and really encouraged me, and away I went.
Wow.
Never stopped. She says, just keep writing. So I did.
So tell me about the music part of it.
The music part of it, well, I always had tunes running through my head when I was a kid. And never quite knew what I'd do with them, except they delighted me, And then when the writing part came, I realized that everything I was writing had a melody to it. It seemed to, I don't know if simplifies the word, it seemed to facilitate the process of writing the words when there was a melody associated with it. So even though I didn't play an instrument, I had all these tunes running through my head, and I started writing poems, and they became songs. And I've just continued the same method ever since.
So have you always just sung?
I sang.
But you
I
also
sang from the time I was like very young.
Yeah.
And I wasn't trying to impress anyone. I had no inclination to be on stage or anything like that. That song just came up. The song was in me. It was in my soul from the get-go.
Yeah.
And having some mentors along the way, brought that aspect out, because my family, it wasn't a very musical family.
Yeah.
Both my parents were immigrants. They came from Slovenia and were very hardworking and had no kind of inclinations toward the arts or music or anything like that, other than polka maybe.
Well, they say.
Although I remember my dad used to sing with the other men that when they were.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. Actually, they sang beautifully, beautiful harmonies, and I guess probably some genetic propensity toward harmonizing.
But also maybe a fearlessness, because you're already.
Yeah,
it's
maybe.
in your family.
Maybe,
it's in your genetics.
Although he never sang other than when he was drinking with his friends.
Oh yes.
At the
you don't wait for that.
Summer,
you just do it. It just arises.
Summertime. Yeah, no, I don't. But I remember visiting Slovenia, and all the men there, they'd have a glass of wine and they'd start singing.
And they start to sing.
So, wow, well, this must be where it comes from in me.
And would they just make the songs up as they go
along?
Oh
no, they were traditional songs that they learned.
So when you had the sound, the idea of singing, and then you just put your poetry with it, and it's just melded. And
I didn't write music, and the words and the music often just come together. And sometimes it's one, sometimes it's the other that comes. Sometimes I have a melody and I'll find that all of a sudden one day the words will come. Or I'll be going through some very emotional time, or some very happy time, or very sad time, whatever. And I'll channel that into a song, So most of my songs are about love, about family, about my children, about
real things.
Real things, yeah. Intense times,
heart things.
Yeah, heart things, yeah. Yeah, the music seems to connect my heart and my mind into some shape. It makes sense of it all. Yeah.
When did you bring an instrument into it?
I didn't actually pick up the guitar until I was in my early 20s. And then I realized if I want to continue with this, I learned 3 chords on the piano in high school. I wrote a lot of songs with those 3 chords.
They're basics.
Yeah. And at the same time, as I learned those 3 chords, I was introduced to a film camera. And I started making films. And what a wonderful thing to be able to put music to the films. And again, it was an English teacher, had a film camera, a Super 8 film camera, and one of our projects was to take a song, and we didn't call them music videos in those days, but that's essentially what he asked us to do, was to interpret the song with images. And so I made this incredible epic movie to a Leonard Cohen song.
Oh my gosh.
I think it was The Stories of the Street.
Oh,
I don't know if you know that
beautiful.
Song. And then I just didn't stop. I just kept doing it. I'd be there every chance I got, cutting and pasting the film together and merging with the music. And I remember I was failing chemistry I had to repeat it the following year, and I had a great teacher, and he allowed me to make a movie about chemistry. I think they still show it at the high school.
So you passed chemistry with your movie?
Luckily, 50% of the mark was your project.
Oh.
So I managed to ace that.
Yeah. So you've been in film ever since?
Yeah, I studied at Ryerson. I went through the film program there.
Yeah. And are you doing digital film now?
Yeah, about 15 years ago, I got a digital film camera and the editing software, and since then I've just kept up with the technology and continue to do so for whoever wants me. I'm for hire now.
So the types of films that you've done, are they all documentary?
Mostly
style?
Documentaries. I've worked in some dramas as a cameraman, and when I was in Toronto, I did attempt to do a feature of my own, and was writing scripts and things. And but when I moved out west here, I got totally involved in documentaries.
Yeah.
I lived in Victoria for several years and made a number of documentaries there.
Yeah. One
in particular about the Haida, called
Yes.
Rediscovery of the Eagle's Gift, and I won a lot of awards for that. And when I was in the Haida Gwaii, I was gifted with this beautiful
That's
blanket.
Gorgeous.
It's an eagle carrying a baby, children, my own children and others have been a great part of my life. And
the source of a lot of your songs,
a lot of inspiration,
and
a lot of
also
the
your
songs,
movies.
and just making sure the children of the world have a future.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean.
And at least to document it along the way of what we do have, the preciousness of what we do have. Yeah. So filming here in the West Coast, you've gone further afield too?
I've gone to Bhutan, I've gone to Alaska, I've gone all over the world making films. And that's been an adventure.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to
And right here in my own backyard, helping to save Burgoyne Bay and make it a park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess we can look at some of these films online.
Well, I'm just getting that together. I haven't, I'm so busy making the music.
Well, we're going to try to link.
On
when
videos.
You're ready, we'll link, okay?
And one of my projects this year is to get a whole bunch of my videos online. And I have hundreds of hours of footage I've shot of Salt Spring, community events, remarkable people, and I'd like to get some of those online.
And you're one of the remarkable people.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Peter Prince.
You're very welcome.
You and me dream the dream, twin stars on a tight orbit. You and me swimming in the sea, 2 tracks in the sand. When we understand, Pacific day, down by the bay, Children play, catching a wave.